Every song that anybody ever heard of that they love was only played that way one time.
This episode, we caught up with Ioakim Petridis. You might know him as Ike at the Tawa Open Mic Nights. His style could be described as moody or trance-inducing music. Ike's influences include Nirvana, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, and several others. Ike is a fan favorite of the crowd and has a unique sound and style. Ike was born in Germany to Greek parents and came to America when he was 15. He comes from a musical family. Ike's dad wrote poetry, and his sister performs Greek folk music. Ike always seems to get lost in any good music. Let's see what Ike has for us today.
I'm not the decider of what you are and how it feels to you, and that's the most important thing. It's
That's what it's.
That's
Because
we're all. This is the thing. Like it's for me. I want to be around people that know that it's a journey to get to where each of us want to go.
Are you
right?
seeing any levels?
It's a journey, right? That's the fun is part of the journey, exploring what will sound good, what won't sound good, right? And like if I'm singing some things that don't sound good, I want to be comfortable to do that so that I can get to so I can find that place. Because if you're like you can't just blurt out stuff that'll sound great all the time.
Yeah, that's the answer to the song.
Right, and I could see that's your journey on that end because I not like you have a thing for, but I know you. I mean, I think you're creating in your mind. Something's forming. Something wants to form. Something vocally, right? And that's it's a process, right?
Yeah, and it's a response to what's happening.
Right, it's a response to what's happening. So like
what we were just talking about acting. It's really very similar.
Right.
Like I don't know.
Yeah, everything's like
you know when it's right. You know when you feel it.
Yeah.
Almost always, not all the time.
No, when it's right, you know. There's times where you know. There's times where you know where like it'll give you goosebumps. Time will stop, and it'll be you know, like.
Because you didn't send us a bio.
Oh, wait. We'll just get into it. I mean,
We'll just get into it.
Okay.
Right. I got excuses, but I figured like you would record this and then come up with the bio after. To be honest with you, but I know that's kind of silly.
Well, that's what we're doing. We're going to talk about it. So we're here in the woods of Reading. We're actually in Reading.
We are in Reading.
We're actually in Reading.
That's right.
With Ike.
Yes. Hello.
I know you have an actual first and last name other than Ike.
Right.
So
that is Ioakim Petridis. So Ioakim, if you want to say it in Greek. Ioakim.
Ioakim.
See that? Yeah, it's all Greek to me.
That's why we just at Tawa we just go Ike.
Ike. That's right. That's easy. And that's the reason my name is Ike. That's it. Yeah.
How'd you end up here in Connecticut? Were you born and raised in Connecticut? Or?
I was actually born in Germany. My parents met on the train after World War II on their way to Germany. And so they had a family over there. They got married and had a family. Me and three of my sisters were born in Germany. When I was born, my father wanted his son to be raised in Greece. So we moved to Greece. And then we came here when I was about 15 years old. So that's my story on that front.
And where did you settle here?
Oh, we first moved to Norwalk. I was there till I had kids, and we wanted a better school system for my kids to go to. So me and my ex moved to Reading for that reason. And that's how I've been here for now 20 years about.
Collecting cars ever since.
And guitars.
You know, there's a reason for that. Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Well, I feel like it's good to have two cars because one always breaks down and you got an extra.
It's like having two guitars.
It's like having two guitars.
You always bring two guitars to gigs, right?
That's right.
I need to buy another one. But anyway.
Guitar I can sell you.
So, how'd you get into music and anything? What was your first instrument? Was it always guitar?
Actually, my first instrument was a keyboard that my sister's fiance bought me when I was little, and I was obsessed with Kit back then. So my first song I learned was the
Knight Rider.
Knight Rider. Knight Rider theme.
Yeah, I can't even remember it right now, but.
Right.
Yeah, I can't even remember it right now, but So that was that. And then I learned the bouzouki, and I learned Christmas songs on the bouzouki. You know what a bouzouki is, right? The Greek instrument.
Yes. Well, you could explain it to the audience.
Right. So I mean, the bouzouki is just like a guitar, but it's got like 1, 2, 3. It's got 6 strings still, but they're divided. They're like congested. The 2 each one, like there's 2 of them that make one sound, so like it sounds richer in a way.
Hmm.
And I did Christmas song, Christmas caroling with that, and made some money on doing that with that.
Yeah, but that's what got you into.
That's what got
What
me.
really got you into actual music.
I think I was always just enchanted by it, just like like I was in a trance. Every time there was a show on, I was like totally like, whoa.
Yeah. It calls to you.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
So I always say.
You're born with that
you
or
don't
whatever.
choose bass. The bass chooses you.
Right. Yeah. That's yeah. Your passion calls to you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What, was there music in your family, or were you like the?
Yeah, my sister.
Yeah.
My sister's. Yeah, there was music in my sister's actually a singer. She's a Greek folksy kind of singer, and her name is Sophia Zinis. She sings around here. Greek people will know her if they watch this. My dad is musically, he writes poetry, and he plays the accordion. So yeah, it's in the family for sure. Sit alone. You spread across the world like disease. Everyone's looking just to do as they please. Forgotten we're humans, my friend. We're supposed to just work till the end. We've forgotten we're human, my friend. We're supposed to just work till the end. To the sound close to the sand. I sit alone, and I sit alone to find a home close to the sand, where I can be alone. I understand simple things that give me hope. Simple things that give me hope. Hope. Hope.
A little bit of an interlude there while we fix the camera. You know, music in your background and how you were introduced, and then what was there any particular artist or songs of like when you were younger that really inspired you to music? You know, anything in particular, or was it just everything?
Well, like I said before, like most music will enchant me in some way, but I mean, Bon Jovi made a big impact on me, like right off the bat, you know, in many songs of his, like, and then I got into Motley Crue, like heavy, like, and then I got Guns N' Roses. It was like, Guns N' Roses is like, I would say my favorite song, my favorite band in a way, because their full album is like every song is killer. Like it's not like a lot of bands, they come out, there's like 2 songs that are great on an album, but like bands that have a full album like Motley Crue, I'm just naming 80s stuff now, but I feel like a band should put out an album that is proud of every song, not like they're proud of 3 of their songs or those get marketed. I don't know why they get marketed, but
That's the greatest mystery of the music industry.
Yeah.
Of what gets marketed and what doesn't get marketed. But, you know, do you think it's different now, you know, thinking about streaming and kind of stuff, about how people release music as compared to back way in the day? I know every time I have this conversation with someone, I feel like, you know, just like get off my lawn, kind of old guy kind of thing about things. But I think in 2 ways. One, I think those complete albums don't exist. Like you don't sit down and listen to an album and find those deep cuts of songs that you used to, because you can just pick your one song, put them in a playlist, those one songs you like, and I think that sometimes that's a little bit lacking. But on the flip side, as someone like yourself or something, it's much easier to get access to put out your music.
That's true.
Now.
For sure. Well, yeah, I feel like the reasoning behind that is like there's a lot of reasoning behind that. Like we had a more intimate relationship with the music. Like we actually opened up an album, read through the lyrics, listening to it as we're reading it. Yeah. So that those moments were more personal to us for sure.
Yeah.
And so, as far as there's two things going on right now. Like, everything is out there for us to check out, and if we make an effort to find the stuff, we might find stuff that we can get into. But it's almost like it's too much all over the place, and I feel like it's not in one place. You know, I don't know. Like it's not like you could find. Genres aren't genres anymore. Like if you were a metalhead, you were a metalhead, and now it's like everyone listens to everything, and everything is sort of watered down in a way, and almost imitative. You know, like as far as everybody wanting to sound a certain way, or.
Well, I think those unique voices might not be coming out, but I think there are some out there if you look for them. No, I don't know if you can think of any off the top of your head.
Like recent.
Yeah.
No, not really. The truth is, I've stopped like diving into new things anymore. I just haven't found anything that like I've heard like passing new things. Nothing has pulled me into it. You know. What's funny is actually things that I haven't heard from the past have came back and pulled me into them. Like Candlemass. I don't know if you've heard of Candlemass.
No.
It's like a heavy metal band, but I'm just surprised I never heard of them. And then I rediscovered it kind of, or I discovered it, but I'm surprised I didn't know it back then. But yeah, I feel there was definitely something back then that was just more intense in some way. Like, I don't know if that's just probably me, I guess. I don't know.
So if you
Like,
tried different
there's more
genres?
intensity. Like, I don't know. There's more intensity, more realness, maybe. So, like, if the singer was singing a song, it was who he was. It wasn't like he was singing a song that he wanted to be popular.
Are you feeling like people are just doing stuff to be famous, as opposed to?
I feel like they're picking a vibe that's out there, and they're making it their own. They're doing their best to make it unique, but they're sort of like setting. It's almost like I feel like they're setting themselves aside, because you don't hear that many different things happening. There's some spatial music that's cool out there now, like that they're doing like with almost like what I would call techno kind of stuff, but
Like Beyonce singing country.
that's different.
Other issues, right?
Well,
there.
I think
that goes back to your point of just singing something.
Yeah.
Country's the big thing
Right, like
now.
yeah, like
so
she
let's-
just picked that, she became that,
Right.
and that's not real. We know that's not real, right?
Right.
So like the realness of like the artist, I think, is fading, like because, yeah, everybody wants success, and there's people promoting things, but I feel like the realness is like somebody singing about their shit, like their stuff, like their what they're going through, and like maybe some intense things. And,
Yeah, we're about the same, from the same era. And I think we were exposed to a lot more genres of stuff. And I think that is coming out more, especially since there's such more access to things that a lot of people are blending some of those dramas, whether it be rap, rock, country and some
Rap
old
country
soul. And I'm sorry, what?
Rap country sucks.
Rap country is... No, but I think, but I don't know if it's added to or subtracted from it, because when I listen to you at the open mics, I think you have such a unique voice.
Yes.
It's so different than anyone else that comes up and does originals up there. And that's what drew us to want to come and talk to you, because not just your playing, your voice, your lyrics, the whole thing is just a really unique thing. And so just kind of like, how would you even describe what is your thing?
Right. I mean, if I would have to compare it with different bands. I would have to use Nirvana as far as like the sensitivity kind of realm that exists. I think that I look for when I come up with a song. I want it to make me feel things, and then then you don't want to get in your head too much, so you have to have your songs that are like a little more aggressive. You're more outwardly like an Offspring kind of sound. If I were to compare bands as far as like my type of what my influences are and stuff. But yeah, I mean, as far as I always thought, like vocally, my heroes are like Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. So it was like range, pop. Back then it was like range, power, ability. That had matter. And then we got into like the 90s where sensitivity mattered, right? And then for me it's sort of merging those two things in different ways.
Yeah. I definitely we hear that.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a guitar player or a vocalist first?
Oh, I would love to just be a vocalist, just to focus. I could totally unleash if I could, but it's because playing guitar, kind of takes away from where I want to be emotionally, you know, because like because you know there's a mechanical aspect to it, and you want to be lost in it, and you can't always be lost in it when you're trying to pay attention, you know.
Funny how that works.
Well, yeah, that
You know?
works.
Yeah.
So why haven't you hired a guitar player to back you up?
Oh yeah, that's a good. You know what? That's it.
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Maybe you're the guy.
No, I'm not the guy. I'm with guitar. I couldn't even begin to think about taking the ukulele out with you. I mean, I brought it just in case.
Oh, I
but
love that thing,
I know,
though.
yeah, I know you do, but I was like, you know, your stuff. I'm like, I gotta play the guitar with you. I mean,
You did bring kazoos though.
I did bring a kazoo.
I brought a whole package.
Yeah.
I have kazoos. I always have a kazoo, you know,
That's good.
because I don't play lead, you know, so you know, so. But that's interesting they say that, you know, because you know, sometimes, you know, like I know a lot of people that, you know, their guitar and their songwriting is so important to them, and you know, the singing is almost, you know, not secondary, but it's not their strongest suit.
Oh.
So when you put a song together, are you coming up with guitar riffs first and putting words, or you have an idea for something like
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is the
Oh,
process of putting those together?
No, for me it's always the riff that comes in first, and then I have fun on that with, you know, when you first come up with a riff, it's really nice because like it's exciting because or else you wouldn't be trying to make it into a song, you know. And then you get to sing, you get to just blab, you know, you can just like almost like it doesn't matter what you say, and you could talk about your day, you could talk about just whatever's pissed, anything, and then eventually something like will, you know, something will kind of like put its claws into like that's what it is, like it'll just come into being, you know. And then you're like, you got that thing, like that song we were just. I mean, I just came up with this riff recently. It's kind of like a. That's a good kind of like feel, right? But right now,
Yeah,
this is a brand new thing. I just did. There's nothing on it yet, but like what I would just be like. "Just got out of work and came up with this jam. I'm a little hungry. I think I'm out of ham. Just let it go." So like that's what is there now, but I'm sure that's not what I'm gonna keep, you know?
Right.
It's just gonna like, I'm gonna probably, some things come and they come right away, some things like you wanna keep that, the thing is I love this riff that I'm playing, and so I'm gonna take my time before I land on it, the permanency of what I hope will be not, like, I don't like things to be permanent too much, so like I like to keep things a little, you know, like it's important what you kind of like stay with and what you think of it is like that's your song, because you can always change it. It's your song, you know.
Yeah.
So and I think it's good if you have give that freedom to yourself, because it tends to get stale like over time. Even if you come up with something that's like really you're excited about at the moment, like if you keep playing the same thing over and again, like, you know, after a while it gets a little stale. So like it's good to keep it open.
You don't want to lose that, you know, being in that moment kind of thing.
Yeah, that's important.
You don't want to give it up too early either, where you go, okay, these words are good enough.
Yeah,
You
no,
wanna
for
make sure
sure.
they're the
Yeah,
right ones.
yeah, you gotta definitely keep it open. I think you should always keep it open, because you also have other people that come in to play with you that present a different energy, and if you don't follow that energy and you just like try to make it what you thought it should be, then you're fighting the future in a way. You're just fighting, you know. You don't want to be fighting. You want to just like go with the flow to some degree. And so if you leave it open, it's a good idea. Yeah, good idea. But you need structure too, right? You gotta have some structure, just like, and then some freedom, just like you have the format.
It's almost like you know, it's the whole thing. You know, you learn the rules so you know how to break them.
That's a good thing to say. Yeah, that's good.
You know, so just because you wrote it down, and that's, even if you've recorded it that way, it doesn't mean that
Right.
it doesn't have to evolve.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's maybe why, on a personal level, I like liveness, because who knows what's, you get up there, even if it's your own song,
Yeah, yeah.
you get up there and you might feel something different while you're up there in the moment, and come up with something completely different, and that's cool, because if it's true, right?
Yeah, if it's true. Yeah, it's in the moment, and you're in the moment, and that's what it's about. It's all about. Isn't that, I mean, like, look at meditation, whatever. Everything is like be in the moment, like.
In the now.
And control is like taking you away from the moment. Your attempt to control things is like, it's almost like a negative thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Getting on to that, what song would you like us to play along with? One of your songs.
Well, there's one that's pretty straightforward. It's just like it's on A minor, and this is the rhythm, the riff. The only change goes to G after at one point. No, I'm sorry. F goes to F. It's not in that frequency. Mostly to the breeze. So just focus your intention on what you can't see. What you can't see.
So you did one song that I played with you. That was like
Oh yeah, I
the
know.
chord change. Where it
Yeah,
was like
I know
an
which
E,
one you mean. Yeah.
pushed up a half step on the. Yeah, that one.
To ride. It's gonna be a good ride. You can't always fall behind. It don't need your mind. Can't always be alive. And you can't always fall behind. You can't always fall. She thought in silence. She thought in silence. Can go. Can go. Can go. Can go. You know what's funny? There's always that. I like it when like the song ends and there's like this moment. You know, it's like I think we just had that one here and on the other one too. Right?
Yes.
What I like about that
It's almost like
song
waking up in some way. I don't know.
is the lead up to the F on that.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard time following. I don't hit the F when you do. I hit it when you do the push up on
On the G.
the G,
Okay.
which tends to push it early up to the F. But
Oh.
that's what you're doing is throwing it into a suspense chord or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
I don't even know what I'm
It
doing.
drags mine quite a lot with it.
Who cares what you're doing
what I
as long as
call-
it sounds good, right?
It
He
sounds
grows
good.
a
That's
song.
what-
He grows a song. What Ike will do is nurture, cherish, and sort of grow a song. That's the way it feels when
Yeah.
we're doing it with you.
I feel like when you talk about chords and when you talk about like measures and chords and like you go into the cerebral realm of what you're doing and the mechanical realm of what you're doing, but there's an element where like it's like you're on drugs or something and you're connected to something. With music, you're connected to something that is not here. It's not in your head. It's not in measures or chords. It's it's in the room, right?
Well, there's something about music that is unattainable, and it's when you like you can't grasp it. Like any other art form, you can see. I put paint on a canvas, and it's there forever, right? And or I write a book, or I make a sculpture, right? I do that, and yes, in that moment I'm making it, but that thing, whatever I created, exists as that thing forever.
Right.
And even though I can write music down, I still have to create it with my voice, my instrument,
emotion.
with something else, and then it's out there, and once it's out there, I hear it and it's gone. And that's the greatest thing about music, is because it's every time you do it and perform it, it's a new creation each time.
Absolutely. Every song that anybody ever heard of that they love was only played that way one time. That's it.
That's it.
And that's amazing.
And going back to allowing this, having the, I don't know, the almost the strength to do it, to allow your music to constantly evolve is a great thing, I think, actually.
That's interesting you say it that way, because you're right. Like there's a certain level of uncertainty you have to be comfortable with, right? So it takes a little bit of courage to put it out there, and then not knowing what's going to happen. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah. But what one thing about yourself that you think people would not know based if they only saw you performing?
Could only guess, I suppose. There's a certain level of insecurity when you're performing, I guess, maybe. I don't try to hide that, actually. I think to some degree I've embraced it. That's musicians work on that, right? Like we know when we get up there, it's almost like you're naked or something.
It's a vulnerability.
Especially in a room full of musicians.
Right?
All sitting judgmental in the back with arms folded.
Yeah. And I could say like most people don't know this, but you know what? Maybe I think most people in Tao and like the open mic places do know it because they go through it. So but most people wouldn't know what a musician goes through when they're performing, because they see the performance and they're happy with it and they think it's great and they'll come up and tell you, "Wow, man, you're amazing," and you're thinking to yourself, "I really fucked that one up. Like, how could this person think that?" And like you're being really hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be doing what we're doing in a place full of musicians, because it's like a place where you realize that that's okay to be going through that,
Yeah.
Well, I think some of the best performers are the ones that never think they're the greatest.
Yeah.
And it's having that little bit of insecurity and a little bit of vulnerability of that, yeah, I can screw this up, or I'm not,
in the right place.
But that shows that you have, you're growing in your art form. If you get up there totally completely confident, sometimes sometimes they're the worst performances.
Yeah.
Having a little bit of that insecurity, I think, and vulnerability actually makes it more authentic. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it depends on the song too. Like, you don't want to be, doing some hard song and like you're being, sometimes you got to put on a show. You know what I mean? Like a little bit. You got to be a little bit like Bob or whatever, something.
Well, yeah, but that's part of it.
That's part of it.
I think that is part of it. I mean, yes, you're putting on a show. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you don't want people to think you suck. I mean, you still want to put on a good performance.
Put on a show.
But having a little bit of that vulnerability, I think, is especially when you come to songwriting. I mean, you're putting your own emotion into that, and you're exposing that.
No, for sure, because you're being for real, and you'd like to be accepted, and I think it has to do with that as well. We're up there to some degree to have a positive feedback, I suppose, or at least for our own experience of going through it, or our own acceptance possibly. And so, yeah, I mean, why else do we play for others, right? Like, so that it's got to have something to do with that.
Do you think some of that? I know you shy away from doing covers.
Oh, well, yeah, the reason that mostly is because I feel like I don't have the right to tweak other people's songs as much, so it puts me in a place where I have to find it has to be the right song for me to be in the right vibe with it. To be honest with you, I just started learning how easy it is to learn covers, and like I didn't even know how easy it was until I started learning it. Like I thought it was the hardest thing in the world to learn. Like when you hear a song, you don't realize how simple it is until you learn how to play it.
It's
like
the same patterns over and over in different songs.
So for a long, long time, I didn't learn other people's songs simply for the reason that I just thought it was probably too complicated. It's too hard for me to do. As stupid as it might sound, like that's what I thought.
Yeah. You stick doing what you're doing because it's great. But I was just wondering if that, some of that, maybe, vulnerability or, I know people, I've had conversations with people how they, they want to do the cover exactly, to honor it,
right.
As opposed to doing their own kind of twist on it. I don't know, how you felt, you kind of just basically said how you really felt, basically you want to do honor to it because.
Yeah, you have to honor at least the vibe, like the feeling, like I just learned recently that Audio Slave song that I kind of butched the last time we played it out. I stopped at the end of it. And I feel like I have the right vibe for that. Like I feel it, like I feel it. It's not like I'm just singing a song for some, like I feel it. You know what I mean? And it's a good song too.
Yeah, I mean, I find sometimes that there's certain artists that the songs are so unique to them that it's really hard to do a cover of them without almost desecrating it. And there's other songs that I can I mean I don't write songs, so I'm doing covers all the time. So
I've always been a cover band. Or always been in a cover band, and we just butcher the hell out of them on purpose. We take and change the rhythms, the melodies,
That's a little different though, because like you're in a group, and you're all just having fun, and then you can it's about it's like hanging out with some friends and playing something that everybody knows how to play, and then you could take it one way or another way. Let's do it really fast, and blah, 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 and you have fun with it, and that's different than that's just different.
Well, and the thing is, you're coming from a songwriter perspective too.
Yeah.
So you respect other songwriters. I've always been cover. Even if I played in a band with you, I'm still in the cover band that's covering your songs. From my perspective, if I'm not writing them, it's not. I'm just a cover band.
Have you recorded any of your stuff?
I have, but they're not up to my. I do this TikTok thing, and I have some stuff on there, but I feel like it's dangerous to record. Because you're trapping you're trapping the song, and it might seem like a cop out, but I really do feel that way. And I feel like in order to really record a song the way you have to have a band with the right like Morgan is the right person for what I think is the band. I don't want a band with just a great drummer and a great guitarist and I want to have a band, a group of people that vibe a certain way, and we can do that together and have that golden moment of performing the song as it was meant to be, or as it is meant to be in that moment, alive, not like some perfect version that's coming out of me, hired by, to do it.
Well, there's definitely there's a different feel. I mean, there's some bands that were just great studio bands and never went out and performed. And there's other ones that every time they go out and perform, you never hear the version that they recorded because, again, like we were talking about, it evolves in such a way, and it's how do you capture again? It's, how do you capture that moment?
Right, but how real is it? To me is the question. How real is that moment? Like Guns N' Roses, for example. That was a real band. They had a real vibe, and they had that golden moment together because they were a thing. When Axl went off on his own, it wasn't really a thing. Why? Was it because he was the one that wrote the songs anyway? So it's not about the song. It's really not about how great a song you write. It's about being in the right place with the right people at the right time in that magical moment of having that energy together. And letting it out, that's what I'm still kind of hoping that'll happen, obviously, and now it's more about because if you're in that place, then you're in the right place, if you're with the people that you can vibe with to play that song together, and everybody's on it, and you're feeling it, and that's where you're going, then it's something you might have created all together to some degree. At least, and so it's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what it's all
What
about.
else do we have to say?
What else do we have to say?
Thumbs up.
Yeah. Right.
No, I think that it is about that, and that's the trick of recording. It's how do you capture those moments, but. It is again. Look, we said you only played it. Yeah, it might be recorded at that time, and that was that song at that moment in time. And you hope that if you're doing that, you captured something real and true at that time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily, pigeonhole you into.
No, that's true. But I distinctly see a difference now between your own pursuit of completion and let's say your destination, okay, and then you can pursue the destination of completion yourself and get there, but I don't feel like it's not the right place for you to go. I think I just think the right destination is with others, and that's what being in a band is about. Because being in a band is about about humility, to some degree, because you have to create something that you understand it to be everyone's, because if you think you're playing your song with 4 other people, then you're probably but even if that's a reality, it's not the right frame of mind. And I don't want to complicate things too much because it's like my own complications, but I feel like the ideal, my ideal is with a band with the right people, and that's what I'm always going to go for. And if it never happens, it never happens, and whatever. But like, that's my ideal, so that's what I'm shooting for. So we'll see what happens. Dennis, don't you have anything to say?
I have lots to say, but I just get in trouble when I do.
You gotta speak up, man. You gotta let it out.
Any plans other than finding the right people to put a band together to get out and actually put this stuff out there?
Yeah. My plan is to keep an eye out. That's all. I mean, I think it's just like you see what people you run into, and you try to feel them out, and if you feel comfortable around them, and they're interested in your stuff. Like there's this dude, James. I feel like he's really, creative with sounds, and he gets in the zone well, and he's expressive, and I think that's being in the zone and being expressive is important. And like I feel like he might be the dude, and you're definitely the dude. We already we have a thing going on, like Lava Well is what we're calling ourselves right now. That's the band. Hopefully it grows into more people than
Well,
me and
part of us getting together and doing this is I want people to hear what Dennis and I, not just me, want to hear, other than, at the open mic, because I think what you have and what you have going on really, I think it needs to be heard. I think it really does need to be heard. And I would like to see you, both of you, and especially you, Ike, performing elsewhere, because I think the stuff you have is that good. I really do.
Wow. Thanks, man.
Agreed.
So
I appreciate
get
that.
that band together.
Yeah,
and
right.
Start promoting it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that. I want to, but please, let's do it.
Let's do it. You can do
You
it.
can do it.
No, seriously. I think you hear all these different people at the open mics, and some do originals and different voices, but there's something. I'll be honest, there's something about when you get up on stage that just draws people in. You can feel that passion that you have in your songwriting and your performing, and what you're doing, and that really draws people in, and I think it really needs to be. I think it needs to be heard outside of Tawa.
Yeah. Well, we just did a jam at the park. I'm playing where I can, and I think it'll continue, and I think it'll happen. I think it's on its way, and I think all of us being together here is probably, I think, a sign to some degree of something that's happening. Something is afoot, and we're not. I'm not in control of it. I don't think I am. If it's meant to happen, it'll happen. And we'll see what happens, and hopefully something will happen.
Thank you for inviting us to our house and your house. Let me try that. Thank you for inviting us up here and giving us this opportunity to talk with you and do this. I really, I think it was.
And thank you as well for your time and your effort, and it's a pleasure to have you here both. It was great.
And if nothing else, we had some really good Greek coffee.
That's it. We had some good Greek coffee. That's it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.